Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, in particular P0CD, which is the community name for individuals living with intrusive thoughts and mental rituals. I'm also the author of P0CD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, certified peer support specialist working with people all around the world who are working toward recovery with OCD or looking for referrals for therapists. I can provide referrals anywhere in the world. OCD is an app. Inside the app, you can connect with individuals who have OCD, resources, and also they do telehealth around the world as well, doing exposure response prevention. So if you want to find out more about them, please visit treatmyocd.com. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I have several videos on, but every once in a while I like to do another video on it just to keep that information kind of at the top of the queue, because it's a theme that doesn't get a lot of exposure, and it's a very, very common theme, and that is P0CD, which is the acronym for pedophilia themed OCD. Now, this is a topic that can be incredibly misunderstood. So if you are here and watching this video and you feel the need to be angry and say things in the comments that are clearly indicative that you're not listening to the video and that you just want to come over here and be a dick, and post comments or email me with really negative emails, yeah, I'm just going to delete and I'm just going to block you. So spare me and spare everybody the time, and maybe if you just listen, you might learn something about one of a very, very debilitating theme that happens with OCD, and a lot of really awesome, amazing people around the world unfortunately struggle with this theme. I wanted to touch on what it is, and then I also wanted to touch on a lot of topics around it that you may experience if you are dealing with POCD. Number one, POCD, pedophilia themed OCD. As we know, OCD is comprised of obsessions and compulsions. Obsessions are going to be intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are unwanted thoughts. They are thoughts that we have that are alarming to us, that are disturbing to us. They are not aligned with who we are. They're not something that we want. We don't want to think these thoughts, and unfortunately, because of the way that OCD is with our brain, we get the thoughts and we can't stop thinking about them. A great way of thinking about this is, have you ever had a song that's stuck in your head and you don't like the song and you don't want the song stuck in your head? Or you've watched a movie and there was some visual or something that you saw and oh God, it just, you hated seeing that, but you can't stop thinking about it, or you can't stop hearing the song in your head. And the more you try to stop thinking about it or stop trying to see it, the more the song persists, the more the visual persists. Well, that's what it's like to have OCD. When you don't have OCD, sometimes you can just get busy and then that stuff goes away, or after a day or so, it just goes away and you don't think about it again. And you may think about it later and cringe, and be like, I wish I didn't watch that movie, or I wish I never listened to that song. With OCD, unfortunately, it just doesn't go away. We get horrible thoughts, we get horrible images, we get horrible feelings, we get horrible anxiety, and it sticks. And for people that have taboo intrusive thoughts, taboo is usually what I like to describe as thoughts that you would not say out loud in a coffee shop for anyone else to hear, right? Incest, bestiality, necrophilia, pedophilia. These words that if you say it out loud, people are going to be like, ooh, what are they talking about? So you lower your voice and you don't talk about it very much. Pedophilia is one of the bigger, more common taboo intrusive thoughts that I see around the world. As I just explained, intrusive thoughts, unwanted thoughts. So people the onset can happen in any way. You could just all of a sudden have an image pop in your head. You can be watching porn and you could be like, oh no, was that person underage? You could read a story and it would be like, oh my God, what if I'm a pedophile? You can have a kid and get triggered and, oh my gosh, what if I'm bathing my kid and I accidentally touched them the wrong way? Oh my God, does that mean that I molested them? And does that mean I'm a pedophile? You can just, see a kid and think that they're cute. You can just have an image pop up in your head. Any way, shape, or form, this can come up. And all of a sudden, you are in the whirlwind of fucking hell. This is a tough, tough theme. One of the worst. And you can say all you want about the themes don't matter. They really do matter. You see my video that I posted a few months ago about the shame, but with this one in particular, this is an inflammatory term. It is an inflammatory act. It is we are brought up to react to the word and the act of pedophilia. We're brought up to have a negative, angry, disgusting reaction to it, right? So when you get the theme of POCD, all of a sudden it is this, oh my God, this is the worst possible thing you could think of at all in my life. Why me? Why did this happen to me? What does that mean? So then you dig into your past. Did I do something to deserve this? Has something happened? Is this really how it happens? And you turn into this. I mean, this happens with all themes in general, but with pedophilia, I'm just focusing on how you're really desperate for some answers of why, because you just desperately want to not identify as a pedophile. And this is why it's so terrifying. Now, I want to go over some really common things that come along with this theme. So, first of all, the degree of shame and guilt and disgust that you may feel when you're dealing with POCD is off the charts. And it is something that sometimes you think to yourself, I can never go on. Even after effective treatment, you might think to yourself, I cannot go on and think that I could ever deserve happiness just for even having the thoughts. Now, how interesting is this, right? Because OCD it latches onto thoughts. I mean, everybody has intrusive thoughts. We all have intrusive thoughts, every person in the whole planet. But then when the OCD latches onto it, it makes it feel like it's giving it meaning. It makes it feel like it's giving it relevance. And the feelings feel so real that all of a sudden you're identifying now with those thoughts. And you're sitting here going, how could I ever deserve happiness after thinking about those things? How could I ever deserve love or deserve anything after I was capable of those thoughts? Well, everybody's capable of them because they're intrusive thoughts, but we get stuck on them, and all of a sudden now we're thinking that these thoughts are our fault. No. OCD is not your fault. The themes are not your fault. That shit just happens, and it sucks that it happens the way it does, and I wish I had some sort of key or formula for you to get out of it and get rid of the theme, but I don't. I just want to go over some things that are really common for people with POCD so you know that you're not alone. Also, these are going to apply to a lot of different themes, so just know that they're not specific for POCD. They could apply for your theme too. I am just talking a little bit more about POCD today because it is one of the themes that is not talked about the most. And it is one of the more common themes, and people really just need to know that they're not alone with this. Okay, I am not allowed to experience happiness. Because I've had these thoughts, I should never be able to experience happiness in my life before. I should be punished for the rest of my life because of these thoughts. Even after effective therapy, people will think this, but they'll especially think this before or during therapy. You could be like going about your day, and then all of a sudden you experience joy or something and you think, I shouldn't be allowed to experience this because no one should ever experience happiness after having thoughts like I did or worrying about this kind of thing. And it must mean I'm a bad person. I don't deserve happiness. Nope, that's not true. These thoughts are not your fault. You did not cause them. They are a theme of OCD. You did not cause OCD. It is not your fault, but I understand. I understand because you're making that connection of I must be a bad person. I'm thinking all these things. I don't deserve happiness after all of this. Yes, you do. You deserve happiness because of the degree of the damn suffering that you have experienced. You, of all people, deserve happiness because of that suffering. I, of all people, deserve happiness, even though I will think to myself, no, I don't. And I know that you do too. Anyway, very common with people of OCD. Okay, no one will ever really know me if I don't tell them that I've had these thoughts. Because what if they get to know me and they like me or they love me, and then they found out the thoughts I had? Then they wouldn't love me. Then they couldn't love me. Then they shouldn't love me. And I am doing them a disservice by not telling them these thoughts. So the translation to that could be by not telling them who I really am. No, you are not your thoughts. You are not your theme. You are not the POCD. So I know that that's where the brain goes. They need to know who I really am. But you're not. This is very reassurancy, but I don't give a shit. You're not that. But your brain is going to tell you that because I've had these thoughts. People aren't going to know who I really am. I'm doing a disservice by not telling them, and I should. No, you don't. You don't have to tell anybody. Nobody ever needs to know your theme. Ever. No, they don't. Don't even come in here in the comment section being like, no, you should tell people. No, you don't have to. If you want to, and as long as it's not confession, for God's sake, if you want to tell people, and fine, but you don't have to tell people. There are themes I've never told a damn soul. I haven't even told YouTube before, right? And I don't feel any guilt about that. It's my experience with OCD. It's not anybody else's. And lots of people aren't going to understand. And I'm not going to add the burden onto myself of needing someone to understand something that's hard enough for me to deal with. So, with that, yes, people can absolutely know you. They can absolutely know the real you, because the real you is not POCD. It is not your thoughts. Okay. That also goes with I can't tell people. And so keeping this secret is isolating. Yes, but I'm going to tell you who you can tell. You can tell me, and you can tell the community, and you can read the comment section, and you can look at past videos. Sorry, just 1 second. You can look at past videos and see people's comments, and you can see that so many people deal with this. And you can anonymously share there. You can join a group of mine. You can, there are forums out there that you can talk about POCD. So yes, you can share it with people, but maybe you just don't want to share it with the people in your life because they might not understand. But having the community of people who get it, who experience it, is very healing. You get to see that people all around the world, normal everyday people, normal cool people, awesome, badass people that I have in my life that are so awesome and amazing, have POCD. And it says nothing about their character. It says nothing about their degree or level of success, or how funny they are, or how loving they are, or caring, or that you should be scared of them, or you can't be friends with them. We are everyday people walking around with these stupid, idiotic thoughts that are not our fault. And I'm going to keep emphasizing that. Another issue is people with POCD typically don't hate kids. In fact, they love kids and they want it, but then all of a sudden they find their lives, this applies to all kinds of things too, but they find their lives having to be lessened in the way of, I have to prepare everything in my life for if I'm going to see kids or when I'm going to see kids, because kids are everywhere. And so then you have to find yourself being like, oh my God, I can't interact with kids anymore. And I have to be mindful of what my body is doing around kids and mindful of where I'm going to sit. And if I'm interacting with them, and what did that mean? And what does this mean? And it is so unfair. Because lots of people want to have kids and they want to have a family and they want to interact with their loved ones' kids or the people that they love that are kids. And POCD feels like that steals it away from you. I do want you to know this is just like any other theme where you can get to a point where you just have to challenge your brain and say, you know what? My values are, I'm going to have kids in my life. I am going to have a relationship with my nieces and my nephews and my kids and my friends' kids and all of that. You can get to that point. It is going to feel hard and it's going to feel scary, but I'm going to say something. You are not a danger. You have a disorder with intrusive thoughts. You're not a danger to kids. You aren't. You are just scared. And you're scared that that is something that you could turn into. But this is like that in particular. All themes are like that. It is so scary to think if I have these thoughts, then there's the what if. If I didn't have these thoughts, or, because I'm having those thoughts, there must be some sort of possibility. But I'm telling you, you're not a danger. Your brain might even get to the point where you've had this for so long that you just think, oh my God, I don't even know what I want anymore. I don't even know what I'm attracted to, especially when you're getting the groin on you, especially when your physical body is reacting. But let me tell you this, you aren't a danger. And you can get back to that place where you can have kids in your life. You can have kids if you want them. Please don't give up. Please keep working. And please know that so many people that have P0CD are able to re-engage with life in this capacity. Another thing that people experience is I'm disgusted with myself. I can't even look at myself. I must be a monster because I'm having these thoughts. Again, this is just one more avenue of the I'm having these thoughts, so it must mean something horrible about myself. I'm disgusted with myself. I should be disgusted with myself. Everybody would be. No with the shoulda, woulda, could be. None of that. Okay? I know it feels like that. When we have taboo, intrusive thoughts, images, feelings, bodily reactions, we tend to put that on ourselves. This is something about me. And the next thing I have on the list is this is a fatal flaw of mine. The fatal flaw of if anybody knew, if people found out, they would think I was a monster. They would not think that I was the person that I'm portraying to them because they would find out who I really am. Do you see how this is all linking back to the stuff I've already said? This is all part of a big pattern of what we all feel when we have these taboo, intrusive thoughts. There's this fatal flaw that no one knows about me, and if they knew who I really was, they would want nothing to do with me. They wouldn't think that I was the person that they think I am because I'm putting on this act. You see what I'm saying? And they wouldn't want me around their kids, blah, 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 blah. So many people feel this way. Again, it is not a fatal flaw. You are not a disgusting human being. If you are disgusting with OCD, that means that I am disgusting with OCD, and I am not disgusting with OCD. And I've decided that. And so I know that if I am not, you aren't either. These are intrusive thoughts. We cannot help them. They happen to us. It is not our fault. And I know P0CD is so hard because it seems like this is the worst of the worst. I get that. You're not disgusting. You are not flawed. This is not some fatal flaw that when people find out about you, they're going to be like, oh my God, I liked you or I loved you or whatever, and now I can't anymore. You know why? Because it's not who you are. They're thoughts. That's it. It's OCD. That's it. And that's big. It's not just it. It's big. And it's tough. And it's a hard disorder. And it's not something that you asked for. It is not who you are. How and when. Okay, and then lastly, I just wanted to say that a lot of people with P0CD struggle with how and when you disclose this to people. I already went over this a little bit. Let's say when. When you decide to, when it's not confession. You don't have to tell anybody your theme. Listen to me again. You do not have to tell anybody your theme, ever. And if anybody tells you that you have an obligation to tell other people, you can just tell them to go fuck off. No, you don't. Themes are personal. People are really not going to understand OCD. They can do their best to understand it, but they can't understand it to the degree to which we go through it. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind your intention. Why do you want to disclose it to people? Do you need them to tell you that you're not a bad person? Do you need them to tell you that no, they wouldn't believe that? Or do you need them to know that so then they can decide whether they can love you or not? Those are not good enough reasons to tell. They're not good enough, okay? If you're going to tell people, the intention should be that you trust that person enough and that maybe they might be part of your support system, but still they may not be able to get it 100% and understand that. The how do you disclose it? I'm more than happy to consult with you on, and I can even help role play that conversation with you. The kind of the feedback I always give people with that is be ready for people to ask you, well, do you think that you are? And in general, every single theme, if you're going to disclose it, be ready for people to say, well, are you attracted to children? Or, do you think you're in the wrong relationship if you have ROCD? Or are you attracted to a family member if you have incest OCD? Because people don't understand. They're just hearing that. They're not hearing the intrusive thoughts piece, right? So I always say to people, if you want to disclose, be ready to hear any sort of feedback that isn't going to be alarming to the point where you are triggered and then now you're just trying to play catch up and you're trying to get their reassurance and approval. Because again, people just really can't understand. Some people do, by the way. But one of the advice I really like to give people is print out some articles or have some websites ready. Even if you don't want to disclose your theme in particular, just say, you can look at OCDonline.com, madeofmillions.com, treatmyocd.com, OCD LA, OCD Baltimore. These have great articles on them. Print an article out and give it to your loved one first about sexual, violent, intrusive thoughts. And then just say, hey, if you have any questions, this is what I struggle with. Again, you don't have to disclose your theme, but that way you can gauge how people they're understanding it or if they're not, right? So then that may give you an indication of, I may hold off and not tell them my theme right now, but I can just give them some general information about what sexual intrusive thoughts and violent intrusive thoughts are. So there's so much more I want to talk about with P0CD, but I know I've already gone like 22 minutes and I don't want to keep going on and on, but I just wanted to hit some of those points. This is a very shameful, guilt-ridden theme, and the shame sometimes gets in the way of even doing therapy. A lot of people are uncomfortable doing advocacy around this. Obviously, I'm not. I try to mention it in almost every video I do. It is so common, and people are always shocked to find out just how many other people live with this around the world that are normal, everyday people. You are a normal, everyday person with P0CD, by the way. You're not disgusting. It's not a fatal flaw. There's nothing wrong with you. People don't need to know the real you because that is not the real you. Those are your thoughts, and that's not who you are. So, again, just want you to know you are an amazing person. I'm so sorry that you have this theme, but it has nothing to do with who you are. This is a common intrusive thought. If you're looking for peer supportive referrals, go to chrissyhodges.com. And if you're looking for information or telehealth with ERP from NoCD, go to treatmyocd.com. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll do a video again here in a couple days.